Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Brian. Behind me is our 2007 GMC Acadia. You may have seen it in 50% of my other videos. The most recent problem it's developed is that it won't shut off with the key. Turn the key off, the lights in the dash go out, engine keeps running, check engine light stays on. You can go around and pull a couple fuses and get it to shut off, but the check engine light's on and you can't remove the key, which then leads to a drained battery. So from what I've researched, I think the ignition switch is bad, which apparently is a common problem with these. So let's see if we can get that replaced. Let's see if that solves the problem. So anyway, the key obviously is over here, but you can actually see the ignition switch right up through this little hole in the dash where the lever is for the telescopic steering. So I think we might be able to get to it by just removing this trim. I've seen other people take all this under dash trim off. I'm gonna see if we can skip that step. So let's pull it out. And there's 7mm bolts up in here. All right, so there we go. And that might actually be enough to get it out of there. Let's see. I was able to pop this piece of trim all the way off. This is apparently a T20 bolt. So that was pretty easy to get to. There's one back here, which you can't see. Which could prove to be a little more challenging. All right, so that screw fell out. We'll have to fish that out of there later. And there we go. It just pops off. As with, oh, it feels like it's coming apart. Okay, so it has a little red tab. Typically, I don't know if that'll show up, but there's a little red tab right there. I would imagine we're gonna have to pull that out. So pull that out of the way, and then we should be able to press that clip down. We should release the whole thing. There we go. The new one is just from an auto parts store. Appears to be the same. We can go ahead and get it clipped in. Pop the little piece in. Now I'll get a magnet and fish around down in here for that screw. There it is. Okay, so I'm thinking this is just gonna sort of pop in there. Which may be the wrong way to think. So I'm gonna put the key in the ignition, and I think I can turn it, and then I'll let it drop in, which it did. All right, I am not going to take my finger off that. And at least get one of the screws started in here. to hold it in. So now for the fun part. Need to get this back in behind there and get started without dropping it 40 million times. Unfortunately, my elbow is going to be all in your camera's way, so hold tight. Okay. I believe it's in there. So it's physically in there. Of course, the battery's unhooked, so nothing's going to happen. Wiring's reconnected. Well, while we're here, I might as well fish all this stuff back together. So how do I get this piece off? Something like that. Just like that. Okay, so that's all back together. Functions like it did. Of course, now the key won't shut off because there's no electricity on the car. So let's work on that. And there's battery on the charger, so it should be fully charged. Making a little arc here. So when it decided not to shut off, I pulled a couple fuses. I think I ended up pulling PCM ignition, this 10 right there. And I kept hearing stuff going on, so I pulled the transmission control module, but it still drained the battery. So after I unhooked it, I put those fuses back in. So I have dash lights. It allows me to turn it off, see if it starts. We'll just let it run for a minute because it's been sitting for a few weeks. You can turn the air off. Now for the true test. Let's shut off. Yay, it shut off, and there's no check engine light. It was glowing the whole time, even with the key off. Try it again. We'll let it run for a few minutes this time. Okay, so if you're going to do this job at home, you'll need a 10mm socket for your battery, a T20 Torx. I just happen to have this short little cheap wobble extension that worked pretty well to get in there. A 7mm socket. I used a deep well, otherwise you could use a shallow one and an extension. Need your new part store ignition switch. You might need a pick to get that tab open. And that's all you're going to need in about 30 minutes of your time. So there, after all that, now your Acadia will shut off again. Thanks for watching. See you next time.